Hello everyone, I'm Ranjith, your lecturer for today's topic on prehistoric cave art. But first, let me introduce myself. As I said, my name is Ranjith Rao. I'm a graduate from Film School, Pune, and since graduating, I have been a practicing filmmaker and I have made both fiction and non-fiction. I've made a couple of documentaries with a special focus on indigenous art, culture, and language. And since last 2 years, I have been taking workshops, taking lectures on this topic of indigenous art and culture. So let's go to the today's topic on prehistoric cave art paintings. But first, before that, we should go through the what are the outcomes of this course. Yeah, the outcomes of this course are like student will develop an understanding of earliest art form and human history. Student will develop an understanding of needs of creating an art form. Students will get a glimpse of narrative to the human history, and they will learn about the cave paintings around the world. They will also learn about the historical narrative in the it's connected with the present storytelling. But first, we should know about the people. Who are these people who are creating, who are making this cave art form some 71 lakh years back? Life began on Earth millions of years ago, roughly around 4.6 billion years ago. Along with other species, a species of big ape is born that could walk over this planet. Like we are Homo sapiens and we were the last to come on this planet. We came around to this planet some about 1 million years ago. But around that time, before us, before Homo sapiens, there were other species of apes who were walking on this earth. Here is the chart which shows the timeline of different arrival of different species on the earth. As we can see, we as a Homo sapiens were the last to arrive on this planet. Along with the Homo sapiens, there were other ape species who came before Homo sapiens. So it is said that there are roughly 7 Homo species close to the present humans that existed on the earth. They are like Homo rudolfensis, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo floresiensis, Homo neanderthalensis, and Homo sapiens. Most hominoid species that existed on the earth became extinct because of the climate changes, but Homo sapiens survived and became the ancestor of modern humans, that means us. It is believed that there might be a chances that Homo sapiens and Homo Neanderthal existed around same time, and Homo is believed by one theory that Homo sapiens were the responsible for extinction of other Homo Neanderthals, other than the climate changes. So one theory says that. Yeah. So here is the image of how the dispersal of early sapiens happened, dispersal routes. It was like 20 lakh years ago that Homo sapiens traveled to Africa, reached the Indian subcontinent. Their dispersal continued, and they continued to, you know, move to the other places throughout Asia at the various stages of human history. This doesn't happen in one time. This happened. These migrations happened in the interval of like 51 lakh years, the gap of thousands of years. It's not like it happened in one go. Yeah. Today, as we know this land as a different name of continent, but maybe that time they wouldn't have any name, probably, or they must have some name. Not sure about that. Yeah. So, how did only Homo sapiens survive, and other hominoids they could not? What were the reasons? The reason what scientists say is that Homo sapiens were adaptable to their present to their climatic conditions comparable to other uh, Homo species. But majorly, history of Homo sapiens can be divided into 4 parts, which were responsible for their survival. Like first one is the cognitive revolution. This cognitive revolution happened around 70,000 BC. This is the time when the Homo sapiens began to think, they began to imagine things. Yeah? They were able to, create things. They were able to imagine this cognitive revolution. They are able to, perceive things. The second is the agricultural revolution, which happened around 10,000 BC. These were the time when Homo sapiens learned to domesticate the plant. They were able to till a land, they were able to put seed in it, and they were able to grow plant out of it and make a yield out of it. Later they must have learned to domesticate animal and they would have used animal for this purpose. Third and important thing is like unification of humankind. At the beginning, there was a small unit family, male, female, and child, one small family unit, another small family unit. There must be a different family units, and these family units joined together and form a society, and this society gradually formed into a big political organization that led to the emergence of global empire. This was the very important aspect of humankind when they began to, form, socialize, and form a social group and political groups. Fourth one is like scientific revolution, which began around 1500 BC to this time. Since 15,000 BC, the people have began to extract iron. They were uh, they had already knew how to make a weapon out of it. Until today's date, the scientific revolution has been happening, and the latest in today's time, the Homo sapiens, we humankind, have sent a man in outer space. That's a great leap what we have achieved in last maybe 3 to 4,000 years since the scientific revolution began. So these were the people who were somehow survived the climatic catastrophe and developed a system, developed a agriculture system, developed a social system, and evolved scientifically, and saved themselves. And so, coming to the prehistoric cave art. So these Homo sapiens, these our ancestors, were around 70,000 before BC when they had a cognitive revolution, when these people have begun to imagine, they started painting the caves. Yeah. The cave painting started at those times. I'm just wondering how it would have started. Were they observing shadows in the sunlight? Were they observing the lights coming to the small holes? Were they observing the shadows on the wall inside the cave, or the shadows that were created on the wall when the fire was made? Maybe, because that's the period when they had no, cognitive revolution had happened. And this was the period when the expression of reality had started. Yeah? This expression of reality we would learn as we learn cinema in the further classes as we study more on the cinema. But the prehistoric cave art painting is important because this is the first example of humankind history where the expressions of reality had started some 70,000 years 70,000 years ago. Here is a battery. You can see the painting or Upper Paleolithic period cave paintings from Lascaux Cave in France, where you can see a bison, a bull, and a horse. This painting is nearly 16,000 years old. So, what is cave painting? In the prehistoric art term, cave painting encompasses any art which involves application of color pigments on the wall, floor, ceiling of ancient rock shelters. In contrast, the term cave drawing refers to engraving drawings, that is, which is made by cutting lines in the rock surfaces with flint or a stone tool. Yeah? The cave paintings were of two kinds. Uh, Monochrome cave painting, one picture which is made with only one color, usually black, like for instance the monochrome image at Chowet, France. And the second one is polychrome cave paintings, which consists of two or more colors. Like an example of it is like glorious multicolor images of bison on ceiling of Altamira. Okay? So here is a one cave art painting from Chowet Cave, which is dated around 30,000 to 28,000 BC. Yeah, here this cave, Chowet Cave, contains more than 1,000 paintings of predators like lions, mammoths, which are made with unmatched sophistication, as you can see over here. Like these are monochrome painting where the only black color is used, and most of the paintings contains contains the images of lions, mammoths, predators which they normally they see in their daily life. At present, we have no firm idea when the cave painting first began. One theory links the evolution of Stone Age art to the arrival of anatomically modern humans, that is Homo sapien in Europe during the Upper Paleolithic time. According to this theory, that development of cave art coincided with the displacement of Neanderthal, Neanderthal man by this more modern man who was Homo sapien starting around 40,000 BC. And it was from this date that earliest rock art began to emerge in cave and rock shelters around the world. So we can say that it was Homo sapiens, one of the species of Homos, that began the rock art painting. Yeah. This painting first came with the paintings came first, where they used to draw on the walls. Then slowly it was followed by the mobiliary art, which is like sculptures, and then into more human figure sculptures around you know, 25 to 30,000 BC. So speaking, broadly speaking, cave painting techniques and material evolved across the board century by century. So here are two paintings you can see. Like one is the example of this. We were talking about polychrome paintings, cave paintings of the bison head. This is dates around dates like 15,000 BC from the Altamira cave, and next is like of the image of big horned rhino, dates around 25 to 30,000 BC. It's monochrome cave painting at Soviet cave. Yeah? Just look at the fineness and the sophistication of this painting, how they have been made. It's not like a scribbling. It's in it's very precisely made art form. So next characteristic of painting. So we observe, while seeing this cave painting, we observed that majority of prehistoric cave paintings were figurative, and 99% of these were of animals. At first, Stone Age artists painted predator animals like lions, rhinoceros, saber-toothed felines, bears, and almost as often as the game animals like bison and reindeer, which they hunt. Pictures of humans were exceptionally rare occurrence in their paintings, and when they were used, they were highly stylized and far less naturalistic than the animal figures. And in these paintings, where you can also see an abstract imaginary in these cave paintings. You can find signs, symbols, and other geometric markings in those, which were very common. And in addition to the figure painting and abstract imagery, prehistoric caves are also heavily decorated with painted hand stencil rock art, which, according to the research of Pennsylvania State University, were mostly made by females, but men and children were also involved. Here, under this right side, you can see the image of the world's oldest hands stencil. in the Lian Tumseng cave on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, which dates to 37,900 BC. On the top art, you can see the image over there in the slight luminous color. So now we will be talking about the few cave art painting of the world around. First is the oldest one, Altamira Cave, which is dated around 35,600 years ago. Its location also is on Spain. Its subjects are mostly uh, charcoal images of hand-picked bison and horses. And it was discovered by Marcelino Sanz de Sautaula. In northern Spain, discovered within 19th century, the Altamira cave was the original cave where prehistoric paintings were found. Paintings were of such a high quality that scientific society had doubts about their authenticity and accused the discoverer of forgery. Can you believe it? Most folks didn't think the prehistoric men had such intellectual ability to generate any type of the artistic expression. It wasn't until the year 1902 that they were acknowledged as a genuine. The Austrian charcoal images of handprints, bison, and horse inside the Altamira cave are amongst the best preserved paintings in the worldwide. You can see painting which you are seeing is the of the bison. Look at the fineness of this painting and the use of the color. I mean, you can understand the kind of intellectual understanding those our prehistoric ancestors had. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Painting. Yeah. The second one is Serra da Capivara, which is dated around 23,000 BC. Location is in Brazil, and its subjects are mostly of scenes of hunting and rituals, animals, and trees. It was discovered by Clovis people. In the northeast Brazil, Serra de Capivara National Park houses a number of rock shelters which are adorned with the cave paintings. These paintings include sceneries of hunting and rituals and trees. Some researchers think the oldest cave paintings inside the park were created around 25,000 years ago. However, it is disputed by many genetics as it would conflict the present accepted human settlement dates within the America. Human figures and wild animals dominated the rock art and are integrated into complex sceneries that involve supernatural beings, hunting, dancing, grimacing, and sexual activity. Third one is Lascaux painting. The Lascaux caves, given the nickname like prehistoric Sistine Chapel, the cave complex in France, adorned with the most famous and impressive cave paintings worldwide. These cave paintings are estimated to be around 17,000 years old. Many of the paintings are located away from the entrance and have been made with the help of candles. The most famous painting is the Great Hall of the Bulls, in which deer, horses, and bulls are displayed. One of its bulls is like 17 centimeters in length, the biggest animal that's found so far in any cave. Alright, you can see the images from the Lux Cox painting where you can see monochrome painting, cave painting of bull and yeah, horses. Coming to our country, India. India Peninsula is the one of the oldest land of the world, and the Narmada belt, the central India Vindhyachal belt is considered the oldest land, where the mostly the indigenous people reside. In these areas, we can find many rock paintings structured of the historic era. One of such sites is the Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. We'll be looking about that. The Bhimbetka rock shelters is an archaeological site in the Madhya Pradesh, central India. It's like few kilometers from Sagar in MP. And here the rock paintings have a number of layers that belong to different periods of time, which ranges from Mesolithic, Upper Paleolithic era to early historic, prehistoric and medieval ages. The most ancient scenes are believed to belong from the Mesolithic era. This painting exhibits the earlier traces of human life on Indian subcontinent and the evidence of storm. Some settlers were inhabited more than 1 lakh years ago. This rock shelter in Bhimbetka contains more than 600 prehistoric cave paintings. The paintings generally depict the times and the lives of those people living in the caves. Here is the inside image of the inside the caves, which people get a rare glimpse of human settlement and cultural evolution around 70,000 years ago. The dense forest and the cover of vegetation protected the rock paintings over here from getting lost. Based on the information from the tribes over there, Bhimbetka was first mentioned in Indian archaeological records as a Buddhist site in 1888. Later in 1957, the V.S. Wakankar, the team of archaeologists, discovered the many prehistoric rock shelters. On a visit to Bhopal by train, he came across some rock formations which were similar to one he had seen in France and Spain. He later visited the area with a team of archaeologists and discovered the rock shelter. Images over here in this cave, Bhimbetka cave, can be grouped under different time periods, like the paintings that date to the upper periodic period are linear representation in dark green or red, and there are large of large figures of animals like tiger, bison, and rhinoceros. It's here you can see a painting of a man being hunted by the beast, a horned bear. You can see the small man down there in the front of it, and besides beside the board, you can see the big board in the color red. And the paintings which are of the Mesolithic age are relatively small in size, but they exhibit a linear decoration. These paintings comprise of human figures and hunting scenes in addition to the animal pointing, pointing out weapons are used like bows, arrows, barbed spears, pointed sticks. And in this paintings are Bhimbetka, the portrayal of communal dances, music instrument, man killing dead animals, pregnant women, drinking, burial rituals, appears very rhythmically. So towards the end, to summarize, we have seen the timeline when the Homo sapiens arrived in this world and the reasons how the Homo sapiens were able to survive, whereas their counterparts, other Homo species, were not able to. What were the reason and how the Homo sapiens evolved into a complex social system. Later, we saw the cave paintings, about the different cave paintings around the world. Then we came back to Bhimbetka cave paintings in Madhya Pradesh and India, where we saw some spectacular, beautiful paintings made by our ancestors. So, Bhimbetka cave paintings and the cave paintings like this around the world gives us a rare glimpse into the human settlement of the prehistoric period, their cultural evolution from hunter-gatherers to agriculture and the expression of spirituality. As it is important from the archaeological and anthropological point of view, it is also important from the cultural point of view. These cave paintings are the first visual representation of reality. As we will study more cinema in the coming classes, we will know that cinema is a form of visual representation of realities, and these cave paintings are our first visual representation. Yeah, yeah. And these are the references sites from where I prepared these lectures, and these are the references books which you would like to read for this subject. And before we conclude, here is a small homework exercise for you guys. I would like you to write about the Bhimbetka paintings, about the Little describe about the Batka cave paintings, their time period, their art forms. Yeah, you do that for me. Yeah. Okay. So let's now end the class and we'll meet next class. Thank you.